We have huge breaking news to discuss with you today. This could be the biggest story we've broke on this channel in some time. Many of the most prominent crypto companies in the entire ecosystem are under attack. And no, this time it's not from trolls on Twitter, but from lawyers. Binance, TRON, BitMex, KuCoin, block.one, and many others are facing a coordinated attack in the form of class action lawsuits filed in New York on Friday. Find out if these companies are in trouble and whether or not your money is safe. Let's get it. Hello and welcome to BitBoyCrypto, your one-stop shop for all things related to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I make videos on this channel almost every single day. If you like what you hear or see, then please make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell to turn on notifications. If you would like to take the conversation even further, then please make sure to join my Telegram groups, the Bit Squad for crypto chat or Bit Squad traders to discuss trading strategies. All right, guys. Today, we are going to be talking about the insane news report today that 11 companies in the crypto space are facing lawsuits. Some people are even comparing this to the Red Wedding, which was a Game of Thrones reference, and that was a scene where many of the main characters were ambushed and murdered in cold blood. Could this really be that bad? Well, definitely could be. Near the end of this video, I'm going to explain the best possible case scenario for these companies, so you're definitely going to want to stick around, but this is big news all the way around. And I will say this, it is an ugly situation, and many of your favorite, or in some cases, most hated companies are involved. Today, reporter Tim Copeland of the crypto news website Decrypt broke this story. If you'd like to link to the original story, then I will drop it down below in the description. But in brief, 11 companies are facing class action lawsuits over whether or not these companies sold unregistered securities. So let's break it down. The 11 companies are Binance, TRON, BitMex, block.one, which is the company behind EOS, KuCoin, QuantStamp, BuyBox, KDEX, Status, B Protocol, and Civic. Some of the huge names that were directly included in the lawsuit include CZ, Justin Sun, Dan Larimer, Brendan Bloomer, and Vinny Langham. The 11 lawsuits were filed yesterday in the Southern District of New York by the law firm Roche, Cyrulnik, and Friedman. There are defendants from a total of 42 countries, including the US, Canada, China, Singapore, Israel, Hong Kong, Switzerland, and many more. You may recognize the law firm Roche, Cyrulnik, and Friedman because they're involved in many other big lawsuits, such as the pending Bitfinex market manipulation lawsuit from last year in October, and also the lawsuit between the estate of Dave Kleiman and Craig Wright, the self-proclaimed Satoshi. This is a high-powered law firm that may not always get the results its clients are after, but they will inflict a lot of damage to these companies. The bad thing about lawsuits is even if they're frivolous or aren't successful, they can still destroy reputations and cause fear and panic. A lot of people are experiencing it right now. At the end of the video, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't panic. But all 11 of these lawsuits share a common theme. Basically, they're all alleging that these companies took advantage of the ignorance in crypto that the average crypto newbie has. These companies manipulated these new investors that were American citizens into buying illegal securities. The companies are accused of masquerading these unregistered security tokens as utility tokens. If they truly do have utility and use case, then that would not qualify them to be securities. But hey, this is crypto. Does anything really have a use case? It seems, though, that these companies relied too hard on the classification of Bitcoin and Ethereum as not being securities. One argument, though, is that these companies did not make it apparent to their investors that these tokens needed to be registered with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, aka the SEC. None of the token sales mentioned in the lawsuit involve tokens that can pass the Howey test. Now, what is the Howey test? Well, I'm glad you didn't ask. This is the test that the US government uses in order to determine whether something is a security or not. The Howey test came into fruition via a Supreme Court case in Florida in 1946 involving a citrus farm, of all things. The Supreme Court justices had to determine whether or not the land leased out by the citrus farm was a security. The people who invested in swaths of land had no knowledge of how to grow citrus trees, and they had no equipment to do it. they depended on the Howey company to grow the citrus for them. That basically made them speculators and not true investors in the land. The Supreme Court decided that the land should have been deemed to be a security, as the purchase of the land was seen as an investment contract. And that's what all this boils down to. Do people feel like they're buying investment contracts that will increase in price over time? Or are they investing in something that will be used and get its value from its use? And I think we all know the answer to that question. It's a dirty little secret in crypto that none of us really want to talk about, but here we are. The saving grace for these obvious securities we've all invested in is that really 99% of people who invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum also did it strictly as an investment contract, and they were deemed not to be securities. One difference with Bitcoin, though, at least, is that there is no company behind it to benefit, and that's a requirement of something involved in the Howey test. With Ethereum, there's a little bit of a slippery slope there. I think when Ethereum was deemed not to be a security, that basically gave a lot of companies the green light to push forward. But what we're seeing now is maybe that wasn't the smartest thing. To me personally, crypto is not in the same class as any asset we've ever seen before. So maybe the SEC needs a totally new division focused on digital assets. I mean, it's 2020. We all see where the world is going. We've all seen Minority Report. Digital assets are the future. There's literally no arguing that. It's a matter of when, not if. So the SEC should do us all a favor and create an independent division for regulating crypto and tokenized assets. It just makes sense. Now, each of the companies involved have a different set of reasons why they were listed. Binance is accused of selling securities without a license. 12 tokens were involved, including EOS Bancor token and one of Tika Tawari's coins, Status. TRON is accused of promoting, offering, and selling TRX tokens, which, of course, is against US securities laws. In 2017, TRON ran an ICO and kept 35% of the tokens for themselves. The claim is that TRX is a security and it was not registered. In addition, the TRON white paper said it was not a security, but the US disagrees. I guess the Ethereum white paper must say that too, in Mandarin. The lawsuits literally include tweets from Justin Sun where he says TRON is better than ETH. The lawsuit tries to make it sound like by Sun tweeting that, he was giving the green light to investors to not worry about whether or not TRX was a security. The company behind EOS, block.one, is being sued for also selling its EOS tokens that were unregistered securities. But the interesting thing here is that block.one has already settled for $24 million with the SEC itself. So now there's precedent for the class action lawsuit. At the time, we all thought EOS got a slap on the wrist, but turns out this could be a much bigger hit than we initially all believed. The lawsuit is using a picture of a billboard from Consensus in 2017 as evidence. WTF. BitMex is also facing charges. This means BitMex is facing a CFTC investigation and a huge class action lawsuit at the same time. A lot of people would say they have no sympathy for this company because leverage trading companies are the most vilified companies in the entire space these days. But what does all this mean for you and for your bag of crypto? Well, first off, please don't freak out. This is not a reason to go close your exchange accounts or panic sell. I've gotten a lot of questions lately about people who are freaking out because they bought ICOs at different times or they have accounts on exchanges that do not technically allow Americans. You have to understand, it is not illegal for you to buy ICOs or use exchanges that do not allow Americans. The companies themselves are the ones who are at risk. Now, in a roundabout way, that could affect the prices of some crypto, could affect your bags somehow, but you cannot be in trouble. The SEC protects investors. They don't go after investors. They go after companies. As for crypto, while these lawsuits are concerning, they're not at all concerning to me in the short term. These are not SEC investigations per se. These are class action lawsuits. The SEC itself can actually work pretty quick, but class action lawsuits, like the pending lawsuit against Ripple for selling XRP, go on for years. These will not be settled for some time, so these companies aren't going bust anytime soon. We've seen the SEC itself basically hand out slaps on the wrist to crypto companies. The SEC is much more worried about straight up Ponzi schemes. They get punished very harshly and people go to jail. EOS raised $4 billion and got fined $24 million. So think about that. But some believe that these lawsuits could get dismissed totally based on the statute of limitations. It's only 2 years, and that time is up. The TRX sale, for instance, was 3 years ago. But experts have said the same thing about XRP, but the lawsuit versus Ripple is still ongoing. So now it's your turn. What do you think about these 11 lawsuits? Do you think these companies manipulated investors? Or are you like me and you think it's just a bunch of bureaucratic ambulance chasing mumbo jumbo? Drop your comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to smash the like button and hit subscribe to become a member of the fastest growing community in all of crypto, the Bit Squad. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. BitBoy out.